What is up and how's it going? We are back, baby, with another recap episode. It's the OG panel here, baby. We got you all know me. I'm Tyler. We got my main man Joey, the steady of the noble steady sort of sports talk. Joey, it's just us two. It's like the good old days, man. We're doing an old school recap episode. How's it feel, man? How's it going?
It feels kind of weird. We haven't done one of these in a minute where it's just us two, but it feels great. I'm glad to be back. A lot of things have happened since we last talked about just general recap. We've done a Dynasty Doctors. The F1 podcast is going strong with the last three races. So,
Yep.
well, I'm ready to talk about I almost said general sports at this point.
Yeah, and just to kind of give people like a heads up what we're going to be covering today, it's just some major stuff that's happened while we've been away, dealing with our variety of illnesses, and just life in general getting in the way. But we are going to cover one major thing that happened for the Saints fans. We'll be a little light with the Saints starting off, but the back half of the episode will definitely be where you want to listen to on that one for probably the biggest story of the offseason for them. But Joey, there's some events that happened in your neck of the world of sports. Why don't you fill the people in and get this show on the road?
Yeah, I just kind of want to, give a moment of silence to Dallas Stars this year as they got eliminated by the Edmonton Oilers, as it is a rematch from last year's Stanley Cup final. And let me tell you, I watched game one last night, and it is going to be another year where you just don't know who's going to win the game. Both of these teams won it so badly. Conor McGregor, Conor McDavid. There's mine. I didn't do Michael Thomas last week. I got Conor McGregor and Conor McDavid screwed up. Conor McDavid going for his first cup. Matthew Tkachuk and the Panthers trying to repeat as champions. It hasn't really shown well for back-to-backs when there's a rematch, so a lot remains to be seen. I know one thing. I had a pretty big bet last night.
I'm assuming it didn't hit because I didn't get a text message saying I'm rich.
No, let me tell you. Let me pull up the bet just so that I can read it off to everybody.
So while you're pulling that up real quick, I just wanted to let people know, for those who didn't watch the game last night, we got free hockey because we went to overtime. Edmonton actually pulled it out the last few seconds of overtime too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the first overtime period.
The first overtime period.
They squeaked it out, and I'll be honest.
Was the final score.
I'll be honest. Okay. I am of the group. Like, yes, Edmonton beat Dallas, so it would be kind of nice.
Yeah.
To say, oh, well, we only lost to the Stanley Cup champions. But, I was talking to y'all last night, like you and a couple friends in a group text, and I said, you know what? I don't want Edmonton to win because, pardon my French, but fuck Darnell Nurse for breaking Rope Hintz's foot with a slash. I'm a little salty still about that in game two, so just kind of bear with me a little bit on that.
Just a little salty, everybody.
But no, my bet last night was Sam Reinhart to record 4 shots on goal. He got 3. Connor McDavid to record 5 shots on goal. He got 4. Mind you, these are in 60 minutes, so this is in regulation. Okay, Sam Bennett to record 2 shots on goal. I think that hit. Brad Marchand to record 1 shot. He actually scored a goal, so that counts. Leon Draisaitl to record 3 shots. Got that. Florida Panthers money line. Didn't get that.
Nope.
Sam Bennett 1 point. I did get that. And then Evan Rodriguez and Carter Verhaeghe anytime goal scorer. I'm kind of upset because I want to say it was Carter Verhaeghe on that first goal. He shot the puck, hit Sam Bennett in what looked like the leg, and it redirected off of him and went in the net past Stuart Skinner. And I'm sitting there going, yes, Verhaeghe goal. I like it. That keeps my bet alive. And they go, no, we're giving it to Sam Bennett. And I go, no, don't give it to Sam Bennett. All he did was get tripped to get that goal. But that's the way it goes.
In the right spot at the right time. Dang it.
Yeah, I was like, I said, if everything else hits, but a Carter Verhaeghe goal, I'm going to probably split my phone in half because there was no way that I was going to miss that. Like, I'm glad other things didn't hit. So it kind of
makes you
took
feel
the pain
better
away from that so that I couldn't just fall back on and be like, if this doesn't happen, Like if it was just a Verhaeghe and Panthers money line not hitting in that parlay, I would have been through the moon. But no,
all my parlays, I'm just like, I'd rather miss them completely than miss them by like 1 or 2 of something that I needed. You know what I mean? I'd rather just completely whiff than be close.
I have a coworker that he'll show me bets that he makes when he's like 1 away, and he's always 3 of 4. He's very rarely, like every time he's like, I missed 1. It's just this one. And I'm like, dude, you got to stop betting 4. You got to just bet 3. He goes, yeah, but I get greedy. I bet 8, so I can't really say much.
I was about to say, you really can't say anything after that laundry list.
It's if we rewind to previous episodes, what's your betting style like? Do you remember the saying, I'm not retarded, but I like rocks? That's how I bet. So,
but
I
mean, look, you throw things against the wall, you see what they stick with. You know, I get it. I 100% get it. Look, I had a 4-leg parlay that for was it Western Conference Finals for the NBA, and I just whiffed, and I was like, all right, well, whatever.
Just to throw a little bit of NBA love because we don't really have it. We don't have it in the show sheet today. Game 1 is tonight as of recording between the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to throw a little bit in there because I still have a little bit more NHL news to cover.
Yeah, of course.
If the Oklahoma City Thunder win the NBA Finals, do you know who the city of Oklahoma can thank for that? I want to see if you can kind of follow the dots.
Oh, man. I mean, it depends on how far back you're going. Because I mean, you can link it's 6 degrees of Paul George if you look at that deal.
Further.
I mean, are you talking about Seattle? Moving from Seattle to Oklahoma?
Kind of, sort of, but not exactly.
I mean,
you can thank the NBA and the New Orleans Hornets. Because if Hurricane Katrina doesn't hit, actually no, they can thank the Army Corps of Engineers for failing the levees, because if they don't build the levees correct, the city doesn't flood, and if the city doesn't flood, the Hornets don't move to Oklahoma City for 2 years to show the NBA that they can support an NBA franchise, therefore taking Seattle away from them to Oklahoma City, then becoming the Thunder, and here you go.
Yeah, screw all their great trades and multiple assets they picked up in Shea Gilgeous, but it's definitely us.
I gotta take the, my tinfoil hat. That's a segment later.
I mean, just to kind of talk about the NBA real quick, and then we'll jump back to the NHL. I mean, look, watching OKC play, I know they've been pushed somewhat in this playoffs, but man, you talk about just a complete team with the MVP. It's going to be very hard for Indiana to keep up, because Indiana wants to outscore you. They ain't going to stop you with defense. Oklahoma City has one of the best defenses of all time. Like, they're the equivalent of the 1985 Bears in basketball form. The key match was going to be Lou Dort versus Tyrese Halliburton. I heard a stat today, and it's going to drive me nuts, and I'm not remembering it off the top of my head. But I want to say, like, his efficiency goes down tremendously anytime he's gone up against Lou Dort. And we all know that the Pacers go as Halliburton goes. So it'll be fun to see how this series plays out. Look, the Thunder are an immense favorite going into the finals. I think they're I want to say Indiana's like plus 700 or something like that to win the series.
I can pull
some crazy. No, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, it's been out there and been around, but it's going to come. I like Carlisle as a coach. I feel like they have to play a perfect series where the Thunder just have to do what they've been doing, right? Like, they don't have to play above and beyond, if that makes any kind of sense. I'm leaning Thunder, clearly, from the way I'm talking. I think Indiana's been a great story this year, but I also just love that 2 small market teams are in the finals.
Yes.
Right? It's
yes.
Parity is key, I feel like, in sports, because the more competitive teams you have, the more invested fan bases you have, which means more money into the sport itself. So that's my little diatribe on the NBA and small market teams.
The big market teams are always going to bring in the money, like, no matter what. They could be successful, they could suck, they're going to bring in the money. When you get a small market team that's successful that gets to the finals of their sport, all that does is say, oh, these small market teams are going to, like, their fans are going to spend more money.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's just kind of from the ground up kind of building in sports.
Exactly. And look, hats off to Presti with the Thunder. I mean, masterclass in the way of just building a roster and building a team. So be interesting to see. And another matchup to watch for is if Alex Caruso guards Pascal Siakam, because Caruso, for being a small guy, can defend large, like interior post players. So if he can take Siakam out, it's a wrap. So we'll see how that goes tonight. Game 1, I can't wait to watch it. And but let's get back to the hockey, Joey.
Yes,
let's do it.
It's a couple things that I kind of, again, wearing the Dallas Stars hat, so I'm going to kind of talk about that a little bit. If you watched Game 6, which wasn't pretty for a Stars fan, against Edmonton, you saw 2 shots, 2 goals for Edmonton. Jake Ottinger pulled. A lot of the players supposedly are not too happy with Pete DeBoer for that move. They kind of questioned it. A lot of fans online are comparing it to the situation in Vegas with Marc-Andre Fleury when he kind of let a couple things in. And I want to say it was Aiden Hill they put in to kind of take over for him.
I believe so. Hold on 1 second.
And Fleury kind of, I think he liked a meme of a sword being stabbed into his back, and it say DeBoer on the sword. So a lot of people are saying that. I don't know. I'm not a hockey coach to say whether or not that was the right move to make. I think Ottinger was off his game, and that was just leading to become an off Ottinger day. Casey DeSmith is not a bad goaltender by any means. Dallas, since Jim Nill has taken over, they have tried to do the 2 goalie system where you have a stud number 1 and then a stud off the bench.
Yeah.
So that when he takes a day off, there's no real difference. Ben Bishop, Anton Hudobin going into the bubble. Who was another one? They had a few of them in the last couple of years. Ottinger and Scott Woodward. That was another 1-2 punch. So they've been liking this 1-2 punch at goalie, and I think it'll continue. A lot of people calling for Pete DeBoer to be fired. I mean, he's made it to the Western Conference Final 3 years in a row. He can make it to the Cup Final. It's just the players have to respond. In my mind, you can't just put it all on the coach. I know he's the buck stops with him, especially with how good Jim Nill has done getting talent like Matt Duchene, like Mikko Rantanen, bringing those guys in, especially with the Jamie Benns, looking to possibly retire soon. Tyler Seguin, bringing in that young talent, which they've done in the draft. Wyatt Johnston's going to be a stud for this team for a really long time. I've seen rumors that Jason Robertson's name's been kind of thrown out there in trade talks. I don't like seeing that unless you could get some pieces that will kind of make up for it. Just like Logan Stankoven, I didn't like seeing him go, but getting Mikko Rantanen in that trade, especially that series against Colorado, kind of made it worth it to me. Yes. So, I'm gonna let the chef cook. Jim Nill is really good at his job, and I'm still excited for next season. Like typically, a team goes out and you just kind of like, what's gonna happen next season? But with the team that Jim Nill has built and the history of building teams that he has, I can't be more than excited for next season to start. I'm going to enjoy the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah.
As I should, but it is what
it's all about perspective, right? You can enjoy it or you can sit and sulk about losing. And look, it was a day or two where I had to take myself and, decompress a little bit. But it just
you're young in your Stars fandom.
Exactly.
Like there's a meme that it's a guy proposing to a girl and the girl has the Stars logo on the front or on her face, and it says, will you promise to aggravate me for the rest of my life? And it's her saying yes. So since the the last time the Stars won the Cup the only time the Stars won the Cup in 99, it has been, we're right there, we didn't get it. We're right there, we didn't get it. So we're getting there.
Eventually they got to eventually get over the hump.
Yeah, you
But I
have
do
to
wanna
break that at some point.
speaking of the Stars right now, and then we'll get to the Oilers and everything. To me, in that series, because they won game 1
Mhm.
and it just ran out of steam, it looked like.
I don't know what
Like what just happened? It just out of nowhere.
you
It
know.
was like,
I think that Rope Hintz injury just kind of
yeah,
killed it for him, and it sucks because one player should not make or break your team.
they can though.
It can, but like to me, Rope Hintz is important.
Yeah,
I don't think he's important enough to where if he's not on your bench, if he's not on your lineup, that he's going to basically just make the rest of the roster shit the bed. Because here's the thing, they've got a fantastic farm system, down in Cedar Park with the Texas Stars. They're going for their own Western Conference final as we speak for the Calder Cup. So you have the pieces there. Petrovic stepped up into playoffs last year and a little bit this year. So I'm baffled as to why they just kind of stumbled. I guess they just figured like, hey, it also doesn't help too that ending the season on the losing streak that they did.
yeah,
That, to me, if they would have made the cup final, then realistically, as a fan, you're going to sit there and say your team's going to win the cup
of
all the
course.
time. Realistically, I could have looked at that team and said, with the way it closed out, with the way everything went, getting to the cup final, this is lanyap at this point. And you just happen to be at the top of the field in your season with that extra. So I kind of expected us to make it this far. It also doesn't help that the two teams that we faced going in, Colorado, who is damn good,
yes,
they're better than third place that they got in our division, and Winnipeg, who won the President's Trophy,
yeah,
for the best team in the league. You have to grind out those two to get to Edmonton, which has, as fans call him, McJesus, and Leon Draisaitl and Zach Hyman. Like
he has been on a tear.
He's on a mission. Like he is on a mission. I don't know did you watch that? I think it was on Amazon Prime. That NHL. Watch that documentary because they show from in the locker room during the Stanley Cup final.
Okay.
In the later episodes, and you just see, I think it was game 7. They just kind of like Edmonton shit the bed to start.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he's saying, this isn't good enough. This is the fucking finals. Like, dig in, right? And he's screaming at the top of his lungs at everybody in that dressing room. So, like, it's a fantastic watch. I think it's Inside the Face-Off, or
I'll give it a check out. Yeah, for sure.
It's on Amazon Prime. Really good. So yeah, other news off the ice.
Yep.
That I think you'll be excited for. Gary Bettman is reportedly been in Dallas. One, because there's kind of a thing where the Mavericks are looking to get a new building.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take the Stars with them. They're saying, y'all stay here. We're going to our own place.
They want how the Clippers are doing it.
I think that's going to be the new thing with the NBA, where the NBA is going to want an NBA building and the NHL is going to want an NHL building, which is fair.
Here's the thing, is that the owners, so get a little off track here. So the owners, a lot of these guys like Steve Ballmer, right? He built that stadium. He owns that stadium. So he's not only getting revenue from the Clippers, he's getting revenue
from anybody that rents it.
That goes in there. Exactly.
Right.
So that's the thought behind it. But yeah.
So like he's getting it Saturday when Money in the Bank happens. Isn't that this weekend?
Yep, sure is.
Fair enough. But no, so that, which he's sat there and said, like, they could do what they want, but I mean, American Airlines Center brings the energy. It's a great building. It's not that old. I want to say it was built in 2003. You're looking it up.
Fact check that. Yep.
Yeah. Because I know they were in Reunion Arena before that, and it wasn't that much longer after that they were in American Airlines Center. I've been to that arena. I don't feel the need that they need to be in a new building. It's certainly newer than the Smoothie King Center.
2001.
Okay, 2001. I was off by 2 years. But,
Yep.
Still good enough building for NHL hockey. The other thing that I'm kind of holding back a little bit. There's talks of bringing another outdoor game to Dallas.
Very nice.
In the future. It's a rumor. I haven't heard anything yet. I've seen a couple articles where they say, like, what's a future outdoor game that could happen? And one of them was St. Louis and Dallas at Busch Stadium, which I would gladly go to.
Yeah, heck yeah.
I think I'm telling you right now, if that happens, we're finding a way for you to go to that game.
It sounds like a plan.
Because my very first NHL game was the Winter Classic in 2020 between Dallas and Nashville. And it was amazing. You're out, like, think of it like this. You go see an indoor game, hockey, basketball, and you're outside, and it's just like, and it's cold. I mean, it got colder, but it wasn't like freezing.
Dude,
you get the natural elements, and you're outside. It's so different.
Oh, I mean, look, growing up as a Saints fan, right? I've been to the Dome many times, been to many games there. But when you go from that to Tiger Stadium, outdoors, at night, like, it's a different animal, man.
The fact that there's no roof to blow off is just insane.
And you can still feel it rocking.
Yes. Yeah. And let me tell you, it was at the Cotton Bowl, and there were times you would feel we were in the upper deck, you'd feel the whole thing doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm grabbing Alexis. I'm like
bouncing.
This shouldn't happen. Why is this doing this?
Because the Cotton Bowl's old as dirt.
Yes. But again, it's a great venue to hold the outdoor game. Whether it's a Stadium Series game or the Winter Classic, it's an event to go enjoy.
Behold. Yeah, exactly.
And people say, "Oh, well, it's starting to lose its luster." Well, no, that's because people are making it lose its luster. It's also going against the college football playoff at this point. So
that's an issue.
I think that's why they moved it from New Year's Day to the next day.
Yeah, I mean,
which kind of sucks because I enjoyed, like, that was the coolest part was January 1st, getting to Dallas, getting to the stadium, being like, Happy New Year. Welcome to the NHL Winter Classic. And it's also, they've had a couple snoozers, and
I think Vegas, that's more of it.
The Vegas Seattle one was kind of weird. This year's, did you hear where this year's is?
Nah.
It's in Miami.
That's a bold
and then the Stadium Series game is in Tampa, which I'll give it to them. Okay, I'll give it to Florida. Since 2020, they've won the 2020, the 21. They lost 22.
It's 24. I know
they've won. I think 3 of the last 6 Stanley Cups, and they've been to all but one Stanley Cup final, whether that's Tampa Bay Lightning or the Florida Panthers.
Yeah, no, they've just built Florida's got some hockey brewing down there.
I made the comment, and I don't know if our friend who's a Minnesota Wild fan caught it. I said the state of hockey, talking about Florida. Yeah, Minnesota is no longer the state of hockey; it's Florida now.
He did not catch that because I was in the same group chat.
I'm gonna text him later and be like, hey, when I said the state of hockey with Florida, did you notice that I was taking a dig at you? Like, just want to make sure. But no, back to the final.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is going to be a fantastic series. Last year when Florida won, there's a video going around that Matthew Tkachuk, in the handshake line after the Panthers won, they said, "We will see you next year in this final." And let me tell you, it makes it feel more like, and this is going to sound really weird, a 14-game series as opposed to a 7. This is a continuation of last year, easily. The only thing that's different is you throw in, I don't want to call it an enforcer because he's not an enforcer. He's kind of like that, just gremlin. Like, you just don't want to deal with him. He does the dumb stuff that just kind of gets under your skin. And Brad Marchand. The agitator. That's it. The agitator. Thank you,
agitator.
Tyler.
I got you, buddy.
Yes. Brad Marchand is in this series. He plays for Florida now. That is going to change things totally. He is still a gremlin. He still does those things that get under your skin. You know, there's video of him like getting up in somebody's face and licking him just because he can. As weird as it is, he still gets under your skin.
It's a mental game, right? Like he's just trying to do it to get you off your game.
Yes.
And more worried about him than competing. I love it. And whenever you get those guys in sports, you know, like Bill Lambier. Yeah. Back in the old Detroit days.
Yeah.
Like just Dennis Rodman was another one. Like just do little things. It's just to agitate people. I love it.
The Florida Panthers are a team of goons, and that's why I'm pulling for them. I'm serious. Matthew Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, Sam Reinhart, you know, Brad Marchand, Bobrovsky is their goalie. Like, come on. You can't get better than this. Like,
no, it's Goon Central for sure.
Yes.
Oh my good. Yeah, dude, you were not kidding there. But is there anything else you want to cover on the hockey front, Joey?
No, watch it. It's on TNT. Next game's Friday.
Yes, sir.
I also hate the fact I'm getting on my soapbox. There's no hockey game from games 1 to 4 on a Saturday or a Sunday. What is this? It's a nonsense. I get it. Game 2 is on Friday. They travel from Edmonton, which is on the West Coast, to
literally
Sunrise, Florida, which is on the East Coast.
Coast.
So you have to build in a travel day. But damn, I want weekend hockey and not while I'm traveling.
That's fair. That's very fair. That is very, very fair. But
that's just.
I mean, I get it. Well, like I said, you got to go from literally different ends of the continent. It's not country; it's continent. So I get it. It does kind of suck a little bit, but at least it doesn't look like we have too many like, oh, do I watch the NBA or the NHL tonight kind of thing. I feel like they've kind of adjusted it.
That's why I'm glad that they've, they work together on this because.
Well, I mean, as they should.
Like, if I forget when it was, but like the conference finals are so annoying to me because like, oh, I want to watch both, but you can't because you have, the Eastern Conference Finals for the NBA is the same night as the Western Conference Finals for the NHL, which I get why they do that because you've got two teams in New York, you've got, teams in Boston that are both NHL, NBA, the possibility of Philly, the possibility of Dallas, there's so many possibilities that you could have overlap between NBA and NHL. I mean, American Airlines Center was supposed to have a Katy Perry concert the night, I think, of game 1 or game 2, and they had to push her back. They said, no, this is a little more important. We're kind of, we live here. Yeah,
no, I mean, like, I feel like for that, so I'm going to go a little bit off track here for a second, just because we do that on this show. Speaking of like for Katy Perry, like, so that kind of concert, they move it for the sporting event without question. But little thing that happened while we were away, New Orleans got WrestleMania, and then they didn't have WrestleMania.
Why you have to bring that up?
Oh no, because there's a point to it. I promise you. But the thing that cracks me up is that they're like, oh yeah, we have these dates involved that we want to do it at, yet there was an unannounced concert there. I was like, no, we're not moving this. Like, we've already had this date here. Like, y'all are trying to bully us out of here. It looks like they've worked something out of the reporting that came out today, I believe. But it was like, man, y'all are pulling this out and don't even have a date set or have it cleared out yet. It's a bold move, Cotton. But so I guess my whole point is, I think like the whole point of that is that the sports teams are always going to have the number one call here, and I'm glad that they do, but holy cow, that is incredible that you just cancel an event out of a city to try to move to another city and don't even have the event locked down yet, or the venue locked down yet. It's a bold move. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that we could go on a whole episode about, the WrestleMania thing and all that.
Oh, that's why I didn't get too deep into it, because there's a lot of moving parts there, and we'll have to do a whole like just recap of wrestling that we've missed since we've been away, and because there's a lot that's happened, absolute lot that's happened. But before we go too far down that road, Joey, I see you have your Dallas Stars hat on, right? I'm gonna need you to change that for a second, okay?
Unfortunately, I do not have my tinfoil hat with me.
Ah, man. Well,
Um,
we'll put the imaginary one on, okay? And let's talk about the Indianapolis 500 Team Penske drama. Why don't you take this away, Joey?
so, as you see, I have a car on the screen if you're watching on YouTube. The Indy 500, it is the greatest spectacle in racing. It is one of the crown jewel events, I think, in all of sports. You know,
I
the
was just about
Super
to say it's
Bowl,
one of the
the
bigger.
NBA Finals,
Yeah,
the Kentucky Derby. It's up there.
of course. Yeah, completely agree with you, buddy.
So much so that it takes 2 weeks worth of on-track action from day one of practice to the race. So the first weekend before the race, that is qualifying. Qualifying is a 2-day show. On the first day, on Friday before qualifying, you have a draw. And what that draw does is that sets kind of your running order of, if you will, when you're going to qualify. And when I say when you're going to qualify, the first time you're going to qualify. 4 laps. They take the average speed of those 4 laps, which, if you remember school, time over distance is speed. That's what they get you. So it's the average speed of the lap, because you'll watch the average speed: 243 miles an hour, 241 miles an hour, 238, 237. They take those 4, they average it out, and that's where you line up.
Okay.
Okay. There's a whole process to this. So
No,
that's why
no.
I'm not touching on the Team Penske drama yet. I'm just explaining a situation.
You're setting the foundation.
Right. So after that, you then go, so all 34 cars have qualified, have had a qualifying run.
Yes.
It's 6 hours on Saturday is qualifying. It only takes like 2 minutes to qualify for the race, right? Like for your run, maybe 4 minutes. So what they do is, with the remainder of time, they set up 2 lines. In one line, it's called the priority line. And what'll happen is, when you go to the priority line, you are withdrawing your time and you're going again.
Okay.
In the other line, I don't remember what they call it, but it's pretty much, I want to keep my time there. If I can improve, I want to finish the run. If they notice that you're not improving your time, they will wave you off and you'll have to go back to the pits. Now, let's say you and I are running in the Indy 500.
Okay.
You're in the, I want to see if I can improve, or you don't withdraw your time, right?
Yeah.
You're in that line. I go to the priority line. It doesn't matter if you were there first. I get priority.
Okay.
I go first.
Hence why it's called priority line.
Right.
Okay.
So now Saturday only sets positions 13 to 29.
Okay.
You take the slowest 4.
Okay.
They're in their own group. And then the fastest 12, and they're in their own group. They move to Sunday qualifying. The rest of the field's done. They don't have to do anything. The only thing they have to do, if they want to, is practice. And that's up to them. If they sit there and say, my car is good, we'll wait till Monday to practice, they can do that.
Yeah.
And that's called, so Saturday's qualifying. Done.
Done.
In order to qualify, you have to go through inspection.
Okay.
You're then given a sticker to say, hey, I'm good for qualifying today.
Okay.
And every day you get on track, they bring you through inspection to see if there's anything the team did that makes it that keeps it within the realm of legality for the track.
Basically no legal modifications, anything like that on the car to make it go faster or anything. Yeah.
Correct. So Sunday rolls around and they're having practice. They get the cars out on track. They're going. They're doing laps. Scott McLaughlin, who is one of the 3 drivers for Team Penske, has an accident, a pretty bad accident, to where he hits the wall, car takes off, flips in the air. The impact the car had when it hit the racetrack after taking flight actually gouged the racetrack.
Yep.
So they had to, all right, we got to red flag it, get this all prepared. They had to get another car ready. They couldn't get it ready in time. They made the fast 12 and said, we're just going to take 12th.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do if you can't get in the car in time. You know what I mean?
Right. So they're just like,
Yeah.
we're 12th. That's it. We're not going for pole. Qualifying's coming up for the 12 to try to qualify for the Fast 6, which is an IndyCar thing. You get an hour, you do your laps, which pretty much that hour is just everyone gets one run to make the Fast 6.
Yeah.
While waiting in line, I want to say it was Joseph Newgarden's car was going through inspection, and I have a picture of what they found. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it all that well.
And
but
for those listening on
if you're looking on Spotify, go to YouTube and check this out. I hate to say it, but so the back of the race car.
Yep.
I don't know. So you see the wing?
Yes.
Okay. Now look below it. You see that thing that's sticking out the back end?
Yep.
That's called the attenuator.
Okay.
What that does is when you spin the car, it gives the car something to impact before it hits the rest of it.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to collapse. So it's almost like, say you have like this fin, and then you take a water bottle, right?
Yeah, it's basically supposed to crumple.
Cut a bottle in half, put that over the top, and then push it, and it will crunch, right?
Yeah.
So it's meant to be in two pieces. Well, if you look at the picture I have now, so you see how the carbon fiber, you see where that bolt is?
Yeah.
You see what the carbon fiber that's bolted to?
Yeah.
Okay, now look at it to the right or to the left. See how that's a different pattern?
Yep.
That's two different pieces.
Yeah.
See that black in the middle?
Yeah.
That is some kind of silicone or plaster or something that they have put on the car to make it more aerodynamic. Therefore, welding the two pieces into one.
Yep.
That got caught on one of the cars. So then Team Penske then pulled both cars, Joseph Newgarden and Will Power's car, from the qualifying line. One of them had already passed tech, mind you.
Ooh.
So they said, nope, you're out. You're not qualifying. So they were pulled from qualifying. So provisionally, they were starting 10th, 11th, and 12th in the Indianapolis 500. On Monday, it was announced that because cars 2 and 12, Will Power and Joseph Newgarden, were found with this illegal part, they have been disqualified from qualifying and sent to 33rd and 32nd in the race.
Yep.
Some people threw their arms up in the air because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. We have this guy who went through the slow 4. Remember I told you about the slow 4?
Yes.
One of them got bumped from the field, therefore was not able to race in the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500.
Oh, man.
So people were saying, hey, wait a minute, give this guy a shot. That's horse shit. He needs to be in.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean,
to an extent, I kind of agree. If you're disqualified from Saturday and clearly the part was there, or you're disqualified from Sunday and clearly the part was like that Saturday, you know.
But it's not the guy's fault that got bumped, right? Like, you know what I mean?
No,
Like,
it's not his fault, but it like Joseph Newgarden and Will Power, one of them two, hey, you're out.
That would be my solution. Because look, y'all both cheated. It's not like and look, I'm not very well versed on how, like, I don't know if there's a certain crew for a certain car or anything, or if it's just
each
team.
So within the team, like they're, I think, a 3-car team.
Yeah.
They have a crew that works on Will Power's car. They have a crew that works on Scott McLaughlin's car. They have a crew that works on Joseph Newgarden's car. In the shop, it's the same thing. There's a crew that works on this car. There's a crew that works on that car, and a crew that works on this car.
So that shows it was a team effort here.
Before anybody says anything, this was not found on McLaughlin's car.
No.
The excuse that was given was they have parts that are rotated in and out and that's just one of the parts that was rotated out that had it, because they get all their parts from Dallara, who makes the chassis.
But let me ask you, would his accident or him totaling the car or be able to hide this illegal modification?
Not totally. You would see evidence of it. No, yeah. You would see evidence of it, because you'd see part of the whatever plaster they used on the edge or whatever. But it was less about aerodynamics. It was more about the safety aspect of it.
Yeah,
because these guys are going 240 miles an hour at the end of a straightaway and making basically a 90-degree turn. That's rounded, but still, you're making a 90-degree turn
at
a 243 miles an hour. If you hit the wall with something wrong with that car, you're feeling it. Something I'll tell you, you're not a race fan. You're not like me, right?
No.
When it comes to racing. When you see an accident, you see parts flying off the car and all that stuff, you're thinking, oh my God, that's horrible. That's awful.
It's meant to happen.
It is meant to happen, because when you see parts and pieces flying off of a car, that is energy dissipating out of the wreck.
Yep.
So that you as the driver do not feel every slam, bump, scrape, anything.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So if you're taking a piece that is meant to move, be released, and all that stuff, and
hearing it
and making it hard in one piece, you're putting your driver at risk.
No,
so
it's a very good point.
Then it was shown, they have the museum in the Speedway, where if you win the Indy 500, your car is in the museum.
Okay.
On Joseph Newgarden's winning car from last year, somebody took a picture of the attenuator, and it had that it was sealed. So as a result, Team Penske did an investigation, and they fired 3 team strategists, and I think that was it. It was just the 3 team strategists, one of which whose son races on the Cup Series for Team Penske.
I mean,
now you're saying to yourself, and you may not be, but if you are, why is this called tinfoil hat? Roger Penske, who is the name Team Penske. If you've heard the name Penske, you've probably seen trucks with Penske on the side of it.
Yes.
Same guy.
Yep.
He not only owns Team Penske, he is the owner of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He is also the owner of the NTT IndyCar Series, which runs the Indianapolis 500.
So we're not saying anything, but we're just laying out all the facts.
So surface level, people on the outside looking in, like Tyler, okay?
Yeah.
He knows this because I told him about this. But when you hear this, what do you think?
Oh, I just think shenanigans all around.
I could not agree more.
That's it's just like, it doesn't necessarily connect everything, but it definitely makes you go, I'm gonna tilt my head to the side and look at you kind of funny, because it just seems weird to have a team. That would be like, it
would be like Jerry Jones owning the NFL,
or like Roger Goodell,
and he goes, hey, you know what? I think that, or like, say, I don't know who their head coach is now, but say it was Mike McCarthy, right? Mike McCarthy. Well, let's say Mike McCarthy, just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
He knows that this thing, like, there's something illegal, with, like, say, helmets, right?
People are doping.
Well, okay.
I'm just fucking with it.
Dak Prescott gets caught using an illegal helmet, or he gets caught something that would, like, endanger him, but it helps him.
Yeah.
Even a little bit, right?
Yeah.
He gets caught using that. So, therefore, because it's Jerry Jones and he owns the NFL and he owns the Dallas Cowboys, like, that's kind of, and they win consistently. Like, what happens? So then he then fires Mike McCarthy, if we're putting that in NFL terms.
Yeah.
But and they've come out and said that we're looking to, because when you think about it, if you run the Indy Motor Speedway, if you run the IndyCar series, therefore you then run the people who do the inspections and all that stuff. So they're looking at getting an independent adjudicator to be the inspection, like to be part of the inspection process. That has nothing to do with IndyCar. That has nothing to do with the speedway or anything like that. Just an outside entity that would do it. My question is, who the hell do you get to do that? Who's just out there saying, we want to run
yeah, sure, we'll be the regulatory body that inspects all the cars or
I don't know what I'm
looking
for. Like, you'd have to give me technology that sits there and says, like, okay, this car is legal, okay, this car is illegal. Like,
I would assume it's probably it'd be people.
It would probably be people that run it.
Yeah.
It'd be somebody that has been in IndyCar, that has been in motorsports. It wouldn't just be some bum off the street.
Yeah, I mean,
unless that bum off the street has raced in the Indy 500 like 75 times. But it's not going to be someone who's associated with Penske or, for that matter, Chip Ganassi, Andretti, anything like that.
Yeah, you're just not going to have that, even a whiff of possible shenanigans if they go the outside route, because that's what you're trying to eliminate, right? Like, any kind of question, any kind of doubt, everybody's on the same playing field.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it should be. But Joe, I gotta say, that was very informative. I feel a shit ton smarter about IndyCar after listening to that. So, yeah. So, I mean, is there anything else you want to add about the IndyCar thing, real quick, before we kind of talk about some stuff we're excited about and some stuff we got coming down the pipeline?
I'm kind of done with IndyCar talking about that. I mean, I'll be honest, like, this year's Indy 500 felt different. Of course, the biggest reason that you could give it is that it was on Fox.
Yeah.
In the past, it's been on NBC. It's been on ABC. I will say, speaking of motorsports, changing networks and stuff, Amazon Prime has been doing NASCAR for the last 2 races, and they have the next 3. They're killing it.
Amazon does a great job with sports. I'll give them that.
It makes me excited for what they're going to do with the NBA.
Look, they need to do something.
Because this is my thing, and this is something that, like, this is more of a NASCAR debate than anything, but something that's kind of going by the wayside is pre-race and post-race, pre-game and post-game coverage, right?
Yeah, I mean,
the problem you run into is your quality suffers because you don't have enough time.
Yep.
You set an hour pre-game, which is fine, like, it happens. You put so much into ads and commercials to pay the bills, which makes sense, but it takes away from the product that you're putting out there.
Well, yeah.
With Amazon Prime, they do an hour pre-race. They do the race. They do it to where none of the commercials, because action is going on the entire time, right?
Yeah.
No green flag racing will have a full screen commercial. It will always have side-by-side split screen. So you'll still see the action, which I love. I love that. Like, it's,
I mean,
not that sports need that, because they basically build in timeouts, and say, like, okay, we'll have like a couple commercials here and there or whatever. But racing needs it, especially NASCAR, IndyCar.
Of course.
Formula One does commercial free, and I think they need to keep that for as long as humanly possible. Like, leave that alone. The race is only 2 hours. You could go 2 hours commercial free. There's commercials all over the track.
Well, that's why the sponsorship's probably a little higher.
Yeah. So you have that. But then the post-race, which, the race may go long. Let's say an NBA game goes a little long. Oh, we're going to cut into post-game. Don't have to. We're a streaming service. We can set that as long. I think NFL does, an hour and a half post-game show, it feels like. Yep. So I think that Prime is showing these leagues and, some of the fans that, yes, it'll cost you $10 a month to come to us, but it'll be worth it.
No, I agree. Like, the issue becomes is when you have it in 6 different paywalls behind. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, NFL's got Amazon for Thursday Night Football. There's gonna be some games on Paramount, some games on Peacock, some games on Netflix. It's just like, dude, can we just
get it to one,
or even just two? Like, I can deal with. What I mean is, like, don't put it behind so many paywalls. Like, Amazon, cool. Thursday Night Football.
Yeah,
whatever.
we know we're gonna catch Thursday nights on Prime, and that's it. It's not going anywhere else.
But, like, for instance, like, they'll have one playoff game will be on Fox. Another playoff game will be on Peacock. Another playoff game will be on Paramount. It's like, I have to own. Now, don't get me wrong, I have them already. But it's like, you got to have 4 different streaming services just to watch playoffs. But
now, the crazy thing about that is I think Fox's is Tubi.
Yeah, I think
that's free.
Yeah,
you don't pay anything for that. So, be interesting to see if that stays that way.
Yeah. So, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Yes, Tubi is owned by Fox.
Yes.
So let's we're getting kind of towards the end of the episode here. Let's talk about stuff we're excited about, and I'm gonna let you go first, and then we're gonna tease we have a special episode coming up.
We've been wanting to do that episode for a while.
We were going
to make this the episode, but we got so excited about Stanley Cup and the 8500 drama.
Like we just need to have a full episode devoted, or at least a solid 30 to this.
Yes.
Because it's not only encapsulating an entire, like, one player. I think this encapsulates an entire era or mini era of the Saints.
Yes.
And what I'm talking about is the retirement / saga / hullabaloo / shenanigans of Derek Carr. And we're going to do a deep dive into that entire run he had here and how pretty much he is the Dennis Allen of quarterbacks. Right? And that's what we're really going to jump into it. I've been putting a lot of work into the script. I'm excited to do it. And I think I may shock some people that have listened before about or know my feelings about Derek Carr. I've softened a little bit on it. And,
do I need to go look for Haley's comment about to strike the earth or something?
No. And I'm not going to give it away. I'm not going to give away where my stance is now. Or I guess the way I kind of view it now.
Also, I think about it. I want Shane in this.
I feel like
that's the biggest thing. We need
a three-man weave.
As harsh as you've been to Derek Carr.
Yeah.
I feel like Shane's kind of also been harsh to an extent. I feel like we need kind of some zen.
I think
it's bad that I'm saying I'm the zen between the two of y'all.
Usually you're the one to rant.
Yeah, usually I'm the one that comes up with soliloquies about how stupid stuff is. But
well, look, that's going to be coming down the pipeline. Next episode, we're going to really put some. It's going to be good. Highly recommend it. Joe, is there anything else you want to talk about or excited about before we wrap this up?
I want to kind of put a shout out to the FIFA Club World Cup.
Okay.
If you haven't heard about it, it's 32 of the best teams in the world, clubs, not nation, clubs.
Yep, clubs.
That are playing across the United States. It's going to be on, if you have DAZN.
Okay.
But it's also going to be on TNT.
Okay.
They got to make some money because they just lost the NBA. But next week, I will be going to Atlanta to catch Chelsea FC play what was originally supposed to be Club León from Mexico. It is now Los Angeles FC of MLS. So
okay,
I'm excited. It'll be my first Chelsea game I've ever seen. I'm a big Chelsea fan. So
I was about to say, for those who don't know, he's a huge Chelsea fan. So we will have a full breakdown and a full recap of Joey's trip and everything.
It's going to be. We're doing a lot of stuff. We're going to go catch a Braves game over there. They're playing the Rockies.
Okay. Well, I mean, so they'll win.
So, yeah, they'll win. Well, I don't know because they were up, I think, 10-1 in the ninth inning with 2 outs. I think with 2 outs left. And they lost 11-10.
I'm just talking about the Rockies in general. That's all.
Yeah, but the Rockies won a series. It starts with one. They got to do one,
They don't know why. Sorry. I was going to go with it. I don't think we're getting any higher than that for this episode, no. Joey. So with that being said, we're wrapping up another edition of the Noble Steady Sort of Sports Talk recap episode. Joey, it's been a pleasure, as always, buddy. Until next time, we'll be back, and be on the lookout for that Derek Carr episode. Later.